Miles, the Autobiography by Miles Davis and Quincy Troop. This is a pretty good book. In the beginning, I was a little put off by the language being used. He would say bad or he would say motherfucker. But he would use those words like to mean the opposite of what you would think they mean. So he would say bad, but not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. So that's that. And then there was also a lot of names that he would say throughout the book, mentioning musicians that he would play with or that he met. And I guess these are pretty famous jazz musicians, but to me it was just like names that have no meaning to me, so I had to go in and do some research while reading the book, even as he mentioned songs he did or albums that he put out. I still had to go back and take a break and surf YouTube, of course, to find these albums and songs that he mentioned. And it's been a pretty nice experience. I just finished the book recently. So just going back and like putting a sound to the songs that he mentions really felt good. And these songs are really good songs. And I feel like I'm kind of missing out, or I had been missing out not being a avid listener of his music, and more jazz to begin with. Of course, I'm a jazz fan, but I don't listen to it enough. Jazz is music that I like to go to when I'm more relaxed and in a comfortable zone, which I don't get to do that often working and going to school. So there are parts of it that I think are hilarious when he mentions true things that happened to him or that he would do. And just, I know he's known as being an asshole, but he seemed like a funny asshole. Like he was conscious of the things that he was doing. Some of the things. He says he was paranoid at times as well with the drug use. But this is the conscious asshole things that he would do, and he would just kind of laugh it off, and those things made me laugh. I didn't know that he was strung out on heroin for a long time, or that he just took a long break from making music, and I could see how he might have wanted to do that after music changed so drastically, where jazz was like the prominent type of music that people were following, to people making R&B and pop and things like that, and the Motown sound. So there's some great quotes in here. It's just really inspiring. I mentioned to a friend how he talks about he would be all into the music, but he would be interested in women as well. And he says that Coltrane he was just in love with the music. Nothing else aroused him like that. Like he wasn't keeping a lot of women around it. And I thought that was cool to see the way two different artists kind of were both serious about their work and in love with their work, but how Miles could actually step away from the work and still have a life outside of the craft. I mean, it's definitely a good read. This is definitely a good read. I would suggest it, and I would suggest going in and listening to his albums and songs, and just going back in time to hearing great jazz music. What I like about the book as well is like he starts from childhood and discusses how the jazz musicians were in the scene, and just the vision of that in my head of small bars with people going watch jazz musicians perform live. Just those are great visuals, and the book brings you back to those times, the 40s, the 50s, and 60s. And so with that, it's nice to be able to realistically time travel instead of the fiction novels that most of us are used to. So once again, I just wanted to tell you about this book, Miles. I'm always trying to encourage people to read. I'm actually going to give this book to a musician that I met when I see him. And yeah, it's a good book. Miles, I definitely suggest it. Quincy Troop is a good transcriber. Quincy Troop is a good author. I also read another book he did, The Pursuit of Happiness, which I plan to do a review of as well. And The Pursuit of Happiness is also a great book. So, all right, enjoy, Miles.